we go. Man, they really boned us in the...
This video is brought to you in part by TruTech Tools. Quality tools, essential support.
All right, guys, so we're on our way to Toledo, Ohio to go work on an ice cream machine that we sold as a used unit to a customer. And, you know, wouldn't you know it, out of all the machines that we had, this is the only one that we had a million problems with it. We've lost compressor, we've had problems with the pressure pump, the mix pump, and now I've got a leaking barrel, which if you know anything about ice cream machines, they hardly ever leak truly in the barrel. I'm talking it went right through the stainless. So let's go ahead and I'll show you what we got going on today. You guys can watch over my shoulder. You can tell we're in Toledo. All right, guys, so this is one of the best pizza places in Toledo. It's down in the hood, but I'll tell you what, it is some of the best pizza I've had ever.
Pull down on that, you'll see there's pressure in there.
Really? Yeah. See, this is completely emptied, but here's the thing, it's crazy. We've got pressure building up inside this container here, and there shouldn't be. Let's see if you can hear it. There's no reason there should be any pressure in there at all. So what ends up happening, and I've never seen this before, but basically in the barrel here at the very back, and we'll show you in a little bit, there's a spot right in there it's leaking. So we have no choice but to change the whole barrel. So we got to disassemble this whole thing. I just took out the other barrel yesterday. This is a U431 Stolding. Right in that very back, a little hole there. Just below it, there's a leak in there. That's an ice cream machine. You can hear the little birdies back there in the back. Yeah, it kind of blew everything all over, and the customer was some problems with his hose blowing, and he was also getting pressure in his barrel when he would open it up. Nothing in there, no mix, and it would, well, there you go. And so far we've lost about 10 pounds in about 30 minutes. See, what we got to do is we got to literally take all these parts off here. On the other one, I actually cut these loose and got them out of the way. Yeah, this is going to be very difficult. I brought screws. So this barrel is connected to this thing right here. These are going to have to come off. And when I originally did this, I had taken these out, but the refrigerant lines come through there. So unless I want to cut these, I won't be able to lift this up. So what I'd have to do is take these speed reducers off, which I left the other ones on there. So I got some Allen wrench here, Allen head drill bit. This will make it a little easier to get some of these Allen wrenches out because it kind of sucks. They're not the highest quality in the world. They're off of Amazon or some crap, but whatever.
This video is hard because she sent it to me, so it's hard to see it.
So he's telling me somebody stole a car and they chased him here, and they beat the guy's head in with a big old cinder block out front. Makes you feel safe. That's when you're kind of glad, I guess, you come from a crappy little town that like is boring. So there's like some sort of Loctite or something on this thing. So I'm a couple turns and get the handle off, and then you can pull this thing out. And then these pliers here do have grooves, and these are pretty wicked. They've got little teeth in both sides. I've got some that are Japanese. They're called band pliers, but these are the Knipex. And these things here are wicked. So yeah, pretty cool. So at this point, we can pull these out. We can either try to leave them up here, or we can just unhook them. Off comes that. This could come this direction, but it won't. This here can come loose, but then we got wiring harnesses everywhere. Do the same thing on the other side. I've already loosened up these bolts here and here, so these are nice and loose. Now you can roll these off pretty easily. Yeah, this machine was leased out for about 5 years when we sold it, and we gave them, I don't know, I think 90-day warranty or something on it. Completely went through it, put all new contactors, new seals on it, new flights. springs, all that. And it's been nothing but problems ever since. This compressor went out, which we stole the compressor out of one of our other machines. And then we ended up stealing the barrel out. So it's got the barrel going to be put in there. So it's just been one thing after another. And you know, even though it's a good hour and a quarter away from our shop, we've been up here multiple times trying to make sure we take care of the guy, because you know, we want to back it up. We were going to sell him the other machine, but now that we've stole all the parts out of it. Okay, down here is where the suction line connects to the barrel. I had a leak on these once before because it's stainless steel to copper. Okay, what we're doing now is we're taking out the speed reducer. For the most part, I mean, it's kind of trial and error, just learn it as you go. Well, here is how they keep the line cold for the mix coming into the barrel. It's a refrigerated line, it's just basically a copper line, and it comes in and is aluminum taped to this stainless steel piece here, and then it crosses over. That's done by this little cabinet down here on bottom, and so we got another one over here on this side. So what I'm doing is I'm splitting it partially with my razor knife. All right, so we've got our nitrogen going. We purged. You can hear it coming through over here. So once we got that done, we're going to go down to our actual purge cycle, which is one click in. We're coming through the high side. We've got some of these lines bent out of the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to undo the suction first, because that's going to be the last one in the link. Then we're going to do the TXV, which is really close to the actual barrel. You can see right there, it's right up against the old insulation, which catches on fire. But at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and do what I got to do. We can put some putty on it possibly. Now, I've had this for a little while. It's from Trade Fox Subco. It allows you to hook a hose onto it and has O-rings all the way through the center of it, which allows you to go down to at least 3/8. I don't think it does quarter. Very similar to my metal one that I have on my torch. On this one here, we will just unsweat. We'll unsweat it there, and same ordeal over here. I really wanted to do this as a one-piece unit, which I thought would make it a lot easier than fooling with that, but unfortunately, the way that thing's installed in there, it's a real mofo, and I don't think it's going to cooperate. So we're just going to avoid that. But I do have TXVs here. If for some reason it don't work, I can always transplant the TXVs. The next one I'll be a little more careful about melting stuff. This one here I'm not going to worry about it too much. There we go. So we've got the high side open. We're going to do a purge coming out here on our suction. We're displacing any oxygen that's in there. That'll keep it from sitting up on the inside. Dropping her down to one click from there, and it'll automatically regulate. I am throwing a little bit of Stay Silv on the solder joints so that we keep the copper as clean as possible. This one here is going to suck because it's really hard to get to, and it's right in the middle. See if we can pry down on that. You gotta do what you gotta do. There we go. This one here has a fitting, so we're staying further away from the TXV. That one there is wanting to come loose already. Good. Come on, baby. There you go. No problems. They ran wires on both sides, so you can't just flip it one side or the other. So they really boned you on that. Thanks, Stolding. You guys really thought this one out for serviceability, especially when a barrel doesn't last past 6 years of use. And that's a pure manufacturing defect right there. We're going to undo this piece right here first. This is, actually right here's our hot gas line. So we want to go a hot gas line first. We'll pull this off, and then we'll do the liquid line next after that. Look how organized he's got my stuff, man. Ain't that awesome? Dude is, that's how he is about his food. His food is like perfect. We got this thing all undone. Yeah, we're just gonna pull this hose thing here out of the way like this. And of course it's got water in it, so it'll probably fall all over. There we go. Let's let this dangle off to the side there. Now let's see if that opens it up enough room for us. Looks like we might have enough room now. Let's see if we can tilt this thing up and then kind of go out the front. Lift up on the ass of it. There we go. Let's see if we can walk it over the top. There we go, a little bit, sort of. There we go. Man, they really boned us in the butthole on this stuff. You guys suck, guys. You really suck. Even if I just go ahead and cut this off, not a big deal, but I'm trying to leave it in peace so that we can figure out how we're gonna put it back together. Otherwise, you know, we're gonna get into some major issues. Probably go ahead and bend this thing up like this. There we go. Yeah, this kind of, ouch, ooh, that could have hurt like a lot. Yeah, watch out, you're on one of those.
Yeah, it's got some wires going.
Yeah, that's pretty important. Don't smash those.
There we go.
There we go, as long as the next one's exactly the same diameter and length. So we got those holes there open. Now you can kind of see what we're dealing with. This is the refrigerant lines, capillary tubes come into it, and they return back here to the EPR valve. EPR valve maintains a constant minimum pressure coming back. So yeah, it's going to be so much fun getting to all that stuff here. You see the gear drive here. Yeah, we're going to trim this up a little bit. We're not going to leave that full length there. That's just way too much to work with. Originally, like I said, I didn't want to trash all this. That actually works pretty nice. Go ahead and heat that up, pull it off. I got wet rag here to wipe it and cool it back down. Probably ain't gonna need this TXE, but you can see the smoke coming out the end here, so you know that's purging right through. Kind of felt bad about not using nitrogen on the last video. So I thought, well, we gotta do what we gotta do on this one here, try to do it right. I don't like doing stuff like that all the time. Sometimes you have to. There we go. There we go. Got it right all off there. Ain't that fancy? Come right over here to this one here. That is slicker than snot. Since we're pointing upwards, or the soft area is pointing up, we're good. That pretty much cleaned up, we're good there. This is where this one comes in handy. So let's put that like that. So there's ways of doing it right. You just got to decide if you want to do it right. Yeah, the factory is supposed to call me back once they check with maybe somebody that actually has done it. By the time they probably get back to me, I'm going to already be plumb done. No, there is no black in there at all. That's just the tarnish from the stainless. As always, all these tools, this is a Western regulator. You can get this along with the JB deal here and the Trade Fox deal here. One goes on the outside, one goes on the inside, so you need one of each. All that can be had at TruTech Tools. Use Survival to get yourself 6% off. That's the new percentage for this year. Save yourself some money. And the big thing is you're going to get it from a company that's going to take care of you if you have any problems, if there's anything manufacturer defect-wise, whatever. They have a close relationship. That's what they mean when they say essential support. They have a close relationship with the vendors that make it, like JB and Trade Fox. They have good relationships with them. And whereas a lot of your supply houses a lot of times are just buying it from another person who bought it from the person, and they're a second or third person down the row. So that's what they mean by essential support. Like I said, we're going to have to trim this up a little bit. I can always put a flare on the end there so that they can, you know, preferably not have their hose fall off, which I've never had the hose fall off anyway. It's a very minute flare. Alright, so my handy dandy pizza went right through the oven here and came out the other side, and now here it is. Look at this masterpiece. A little bit of mushrooms, some onions, pepperoni, 2 different kinds of pepperoni, 2 different kinds of cheese. If you guys are in the Toledo area, check out this guy right here. Just Google search it, you'll find it. Prices are reasonable and the food's exceptional, so make sure you guys check that out if you're in the Toledo area. Now, come in and then tilt it down. There we go. And then shoot for that hole. I'm in my hole. You in your hole?
Hold on, we got some wires wires in the way.
Sweet. Okay, as soon as I get those screws on, we'd be good.
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna put these bolts back in there. Kind of most the way in. We'll speed it up. We're gonna lower it back down now. Got it. Let's go ahead and brush flux onto that stainless steel rod here. I've already cleaned it up with the wire brush wheel. Now I need something to hold that up there so that it doesn't fall. We're going to use the adjustable screwdriver here. Wedge it under there nice and tight. Okay, looks like we got it. Looks like we got it pretty good right there. Yeah, looks like I got it. Okay, let's get this back side, and then that'll be done with that side. Then we just got to change filter dryer. Yep. Stolding still hasn't called me back yet. It's like 2.5 hours later. Let's see if we can get this up there. There we go. He needs really sizzling up there at the top, actually. Not bad for an amateur. There we go. Dip it in the water bucket, that way it doesn't catch on fire, and throw her in the trash can. Man, that was just horrible.
What?
That was horrible.
Oh, yeah.
There was enough freaking braze rod on there to do it without even adding any. I'm not big into wrapping filter dryer. I ain't big into anything wrapping, because half the time, unless I'm gonna be on there for a long time, because otherwise, half the time it puts off steam and that screws you up and you spend longer on there. So, yeah. And yeah, I know, you gotta be careful how you cool it down. You don't wanna cool it down too quickly to the point where you cause it to crack and all that. So you gotta use a little common sense and balance it. Nothing's perfect when you're out in the field trying to get everything done on a timely manner. Do it right. Just, there's a lot to it. Well, there we go. Fancy Nancy. This has been changed multiple times. So that copper looks like crap. It's just the way it is. Ain't much you can do about it. So we got it all together. Everything looked really hunky-dory, and I kept having a pressure drop. So we're starting over again. I had a leak on the back side of that TXV there, so I just heated it up again and sprayed it with soap. This time it didn't. It's not bubbling. All the other fittings seem to have held pretty good. Cleaned up that filter dryer there, put a little gray paint on it. It's pretty good. This stuff here seems to work really good. It's some really thick stuff. Just thought about getting one of these. And this is a cheap one called Performax 10 bucks. But watch this. Automatically stretches the duct tie. Slide it right in there like that. Boom, cuts it, you're good to go. Slide in there. Boom, cut it, you're good to go. You can adjust how hard it has to pull before it cuts. Kind of makes it easy when you got a bunch of them. Still needs a little bit of a tail there, but it's not bad. But as you can see, that tightens her up nice and tight. And that does her up pretty. So we're getting close to our target there. We're in the 500s. We got to do a valve off yet. Make sure that she holds. I won't be surprised if it comes up a little bit because of the refrigerant and stuff in there. However, the pressure test and stuff held pretty good. We got everything back together here on top. All my wires and stuff are secured. And same thing over here on this other side. We got all the wires here tightened up. Things are good to go there. And we'll be pulling a vacuum on that here in just a little bit. Okay, I just valved off, and so far we've come up to about 620 area. My leak rate's at 0.4, which isn't horrible. I assume here in just a little bit it should slow down and stop, so we're going to pull just a little bit longer, recheck it, but looking good. I get to see so many write-up sheets from other guys that always says, pulled to 500. Well, that's great. You pulled it to 500, and then you didn't check it after that. It went right up to 10,000. You have no clue. So that's kind of being a little extreme, but point is, the valve off is the most essential part to see whether or not it actually holds. And it's not really the best way to do a leak test, but it does tell you whether you're dry. It does tell you that you're actually holding, so you probably are leak-free. However, I've had leaks, even though I pulled perfect vacuums and held for quite a long time. So you can't trust vacuum for a leak check. Same thing on it goes up. So refrigerants in the oil, it's going to boil off. I don't have all day to boil refrigerant out. We'll watch it. We'll see how it does first before we get to that. But you got to make a judgment call on some of those things. You know, we got brand new filter dryer in there. You're never going to get all of moisture out of that POE oil anyway. You got to let the dryer do some of its work. Otherwise, why even change the dryer? Okay, we are at 516 and slowing down to 0.2 to 0.3 microns a second. It's passing my book. On to the next side. Let's get this juiced up. Got this stuff ready to roll. Okay, so one thing to keep in mind, you can't put these on ahead of time because you got that cover has to go on there. It's a crap design, but whatever. Also, you need to put some silicone on this to help seal behind it. We're going to put some clear silicone on it. They had gray before. Stolding never even called me back. It's 6 o'clock and I still haven't received a call back. Spoke to, I forget, Scott maybe, I forget, and then they were going to turn it over to Art, and Art never called, so yeah. Okay, we're at 306 there. Give it a little break at the ball there. See, this is what makes this thing so valuable. It was up so high, and now it's coming down slow. And that's how you know, instead of just watching this, that just sucks. So we got the other gauge set out here, and of course, good old Testo. Got it connected to this gauge set, and because I left that gauge set on, so I've got two of them, they decided to connect to that one, and then I lost my freaking weight scale because it went to the other one. They need to do something. You think the Germans could come up with a better deal? Their Bluetooth sucks. Their Bluetooth sucks. They need to hire some new engineers for their Bluetooth. That's just a fact, Jack. That's everybody's complaint, is the Bluetooth range sucks and it disconnects. Happens all the time. Fieldpiece whoops their ass on that shit. So that just pisses me off because I hate Fieldpiece's big ass gauge set. I like the smaller gauge set. But their Bluetooth sucks. Their app sucks. Fieldpiece's app sucks. But you know what? I'm just going to be an asshole today because this ain't going real well. Okay, the one thing I didn't realize when I was measuring that is he had this cover off, so we may have a little more difficulty reaching that, but it kind of comes in there tight to that there, so it won't be that bad. And I had to raise this hose up because another issue we have is the mix always wanting to go back into the mix pump. A lot of wires got unplugged. Okay, the way I do this, when it's simple like this, I just stick it through and let her feed. Otherwise, I'll take that apart, wrap it around it, turn it on, then shove the cover over it. Hooks on that corner there, and hooks on that corner there, comes up, and goes in a piece like that. And you get two thumb screws. There's a check valve in here, a little rubber deal with the spring, goes up to there, sucks it in through that little pump set, roller system there. Comes up to there, air pump comes into here, pumps into that. Here's the drain. And I think what I'm gonna do is pull the charge and weigh it back in for the cabinet. It's only like 8 ounces, 134A. And he said he was having some problems with it freezing up. I don't, you know, it was warm. It showed about the average pressure you normally would see, but at the 8 ounces, it's almost impossible to tell if it's low or not, and not at temperature. If it was at temperature, it'd be a different story. Get that in the mix. This is all temporary. He's gonna throw all this away. So we ain't sanitizing nothing. We'll just run it through, making sure it runs and it works. That way I can go home, because it's later than I care to be here, and I still have an hour and a quarter to get home. There we go. We're gonna go ahead and feed the mix up to here, bleed out the air as we go, and we get that mix up just below our 2 air bleeds. As you'll notice, got mix coming in here, got mix coming in there. Normally you would bleed this out after you've sanitized it, and everything would be all nice and sanitized, and then you just bleed out anything that comes through to push the sanitizer out with it. This is a water-cooled machine. As you noticed earlier, we had coax coils. Comes into here. That's your water pressure regulating valves. Opens and closes based off of discharge pressure with this line here. That comes off the discharge, same thing over there. Those motors right there are what's pumping it. That's air pump at the top, and then that pump on the front is what's making the mix go. So as soon as we get that in there, we'll do one at a time. We do have a sight glass. You can't really necessarily go with it, but okay, we are all up at the top here. Top here. We're ready to turn it on and make it go. Should say freezing. Check mix because we don't have the prongs in the mix. I had a wire off of my contactor. I forgot that I needed to push that on there. So we got that on, and now it's running. And you can see there, you don't want to stick your finger in that, it might hurt. It'll rip your arm off. So I think 1 or 2 horse, maybe 3 horse, I forget. It's going to hurt though, I guarantee you that. So it's going to run it until it hits the amp draw that it's set for, and it'll start to freeze down. Yeah, it says 36 here, which would be dead on the money. So as long as it remembered, it should be all right. So I mean, if that's the case, I mean, he said 36, so 37, 38, we're 2 ounces over, that'd be whoop-de-doo. That might be why it's working perfect, so it may have actually remembered something, who knows. If that's the case, just great, grand, and glorious there. Don't really check secrets of filling the factory, just totally gets flabbergasted when you talk about those things. Cylinder temp 16 degrees. These are ran off consistency, which means amperage. And so you can see right here, my motor amps are 3.5. We did a no-load test on it when we first set it up, and that is how we determine what it is when it's just water. And when it's on mix, it's completely different. Look, it's done. There you go. Look at that. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Do the honors. Milk my cow. That's a little soft, but yeah.
Still needs a minute to get going, probably.
Yeah, it's really sloppy. Huh?
Did you hear that?
What?
That
Let you know that it's working. Oh, we're controlled by temp. Oh, that's why. Okay. When did I do temp? I must have done that the last go around, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. And it worked okay?
Yeah.
So it may take 2 or 3 pulls. Okay, so we're not basing off amp draw. He wanted it very similar to that machine, so that's how the old ones ran. So we'll tweak it a couple more times here. We'll let it run a few more cycles. All right, so now we're on the right side. I had 20 ounces in this thing, so I zeroed it out. We need to add 16 more ounces to it. Let's go ahead and tell this one to turn on the bacon. It's about ready to go. Push to freeze. Select over to the right side. Consistency's at 8, which we ain't using. We're at 76 degree cylinder temp and 3.2 amps and 207 volts. Currently, we're at 190. Sight glass is flashing. Let's go ahead and get that other 16 ounces in there. Yippee, flippin' skippy. All right, everything's looking good. I'm happy so far. Wires are tight. So we ended up pulling the charge, weighing it back in. We got exactly, well, did have 8 ounces, but we got it in there. So now that we've got that in weighed in, we're gonna go ahead and dump the liquid in. It's still pulling about 19 pound suction. With it being a cap tube system, Usually just pull it, lay it back in, call it a day. So it should be good to go. Hopefully that'll be the end of his problems, because I mean, he's had nothing but problems. Essentially, this right here is an accumulator. Had those leak before. The liquid will go through there, boils out any refrigerants in it, and then basically it's a regular accumulator. So it's I showed you guys a short on that. There we go.
Holy shit.
We know that ice cream's working good. We good. We good. That one's good. Side glass is full. Head pressure looks good. 225, so we're good. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. It was a long, long day, and I still got a long ways to go before I get home. So if you enjoyed it, how about subscribing? Smack the like button, leave a comment down below. Until next time, we'll catch you on the next one. Later.